What got you interested in coaching?
Um, I don't really know. I was discussing with my friend how funny it would be if
Hmm.
someone would look over my gameplay, because I could look over his gameplay because he's game sense wise a little bit worse than me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't look over my gameplay, so we said how funny it would be if you could just coach me. And then, as my birthday present, he bought me this coaching session.
Nice, 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 nice. Okay, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sounds good. How long you been playing the game?
Since 2019 anniversary, I've
Nice.
been
Okay.
playing.
Okay. Okay. And consistently?
Consistent up until season 6, Overwatch 2.
Right.
I made a break for one season until season 7 because
Sure.
I was not feeling the game.
Sure.
Other than
Makes sense.
that, yeah.
Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Let's keep going here. So, you're a DPS primarily. So, how long you been mostly a DPS man?
I started with DPS first on Reaper Hanzo. Then I was a tank main until season 3 in Overwatch 2.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Peak Masters
Mm-hmm.
was quite okay.
Okay.
And then I decided it was time for a challenge, for a difficult hero, and then I went to Tracer. And now I struggle.
I can imagine. Why the transition? I know you said kind of time for a challenge, but was it just more of a personal challenge thing? Hero that you've always wanted to play, just never really got into, or what?
I played DPS Doomfist in Overwatch 1 on and off because it was difficult.
Yep.
And I was enjoying the difficulty of the hero. And then I said, like, okay, the most difficult hero is Tracer.
Mhm.
Nothing else can beat it. I'm going to play Tracer.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. And how has that, obviously, besides the difficulty, have you enjoyed playing the character? Has it been a good challenge, or has it just been a little hit or miss?
I'm unsure.
Sure.
It depends. Most of the time I have fun. I duel with a friend, the
Mhm.
friend who bought me the session.
Sure.
And yeah, most of the time it's fun, but I struggle against specific characters like Cassidy with his nade. Like,
Sure.
I just hate it. I
Okay.
can't get any fun in this.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. I guess my question is if you know if it's something that was kind of like just a fun little side challenge, you know, are you
No.
has it been worth the cost? Has it been worth the price? I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been challenged in this game like never before. Like on Ryan, you don't need mechanics. Like I would just
Yeah.
watch 2-3 videos, and then I was like, oh, okay, I can do that in my next game. And then I would climb from plat to diamond, and was like, oh yeah, that's cool. And Tracer, I watched videos. I watched your videos especially.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't get it.
Sure. Okay. Well, we'll see what we're missing here. So Overwatch is 2 to 3 hours per day, 4 to 5 times per week. I assume that's all ranked.
Yes, mostly rank.
Okay. Okay.
Do you warm up in custom games?
Sure. What kind of warm up do you do with Tracer?
Try hard FFR if there's an open lobby, and my friend mains Widowmaker, so we do some Widow 1v1s.
Sure. Okay.
To warm him up.
Sure. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. And do you primarily duo queue?
Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Playing the game alone is not as fun for me anymore.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, there's a lot of upsides and downsides to duo queuing. The biggest upside is fun, right? Just keep in mind that if your friend is improving at a disproportionate rate than you are, or vice versa, then there will start to be either boosting involved or lagging involved. In other words, if you're better than your friend, improving better than your friend will be boosted and you will be a lower rank than you should be.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. And as long as they're not a distraction and you're able to focus on your own thing, it's fine then. Okay. What do you hope to get out of the session? Better understanding of the Tracer fundamentals, target priority, managing downtime, pre-fight setup, and understanding my job in the team. Okay. Now, mostly Tracer, sometimes Echo, Genji or Soldier. When do you swap and how much do you actually play of those characters?
Swap on Echo if I feel like 2 times a week, maybe.
Sure.
Genji,
but not often.
No, not often. Genji I play on Circuit Royale. I feel like he's way easier climbing up the buildings, especially first point. You can just go into the backline up the building. Maybe not the best flank, but it works in plat.
Okay.
And especially against double sniper Widow Hanzo on Bunkertown or something like that, I would pick Genji because I seem to struggle against the body shots.
Yep. Okay, makes sense. Okay, goals. Not really any long-term goals other than getting good. Short-term goals would be to eradicate my big mistakes and getting a feeling about what to do in what situation. It sounds like for you to an extent, maybe I'm reading too much into it. The rank is not so much important as it feels like you feel coincidentally hard stuck. And you're like, I just don't know what I'm not doing, especially with what you were saying earlier with the Reinhardt, where I felt like I could intake new information and execute that information. I'm intaking new information with Tracer and nothing's happening. And I want to know why.
Yeah, so rank-wise, I don't really care. Like, if I get a good rank, it's fine with me, but if I don't, then I don't. I would just want to play the character.
Yeah.
And if I'm very good at the character, then I will climb. And if I do with my friend, I might not climb as much, but I can still have fun on the character. That's what's important for me.
Of course. I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, which is I'm going to be very suspicious of, where you said something about intaking new information with Rein, being able to immediately execute, not as mechanically demanding. And you kind of, you're aware of this obviously with Tracer, but that's always a difficult thing with Tracers, is understanding is really important, but there is a ceiling at which point where you need to at least have some level of mechanics before you can climb to the next rank.
Yes.
And that's the hardest part, because she is probably the most mechanically demanding character in the game.
Yes, I struggle with my mechanics a lot.
Okay.
Blink melees, I blink into walls so often.
Sure.
Recall management, I either underestimate or overestimate enemies, and then I die, or I recall with 140 HP and no one's looking at me.
Yep.
So
now, have you worked at your mechanics specifically?
Yes, in Tryhard FFR especially, I try to work on it. I try to work on my trigger discipline.
Okay.
I made some pulse bomb parkours or something like that, so I could try to hit my pulse bomb more consistently. But I seem to struggle the most with my blink usage, like map knowledge. Where do I blink?
Sure.
Pressing A, D.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let me give you an analogy here really quick, because this is something that I struggled with at some point. I remember when, this has actually happened to me multiple times in my improvement career, back when I was playing a lot of Zenyatta and Masters and Grandmaster, and I was playing a lot of like Deathmatch and Tryhard, Free-for-all and all that kind of stuff, and that was definitely helping a little bit, but I wasn't playing it enough to make a difference because I was playing more ranked than Tryhard, obviously, right? That's good. Problem is then I'd get into ranked and I'd work on my positioning or my orb usage and my trance usage and so on. But one thing I was neglecting was my mechanics. And there were a lot of times where if I had been able to slow things down and really focus on hitting my shots, I would have gotten many more kills and won a lot more duels. But I didn't want to work on mechanics and competitive, right? And then one day I was like, you know what? I should just see if I can just go like a day, and all I practice is just hitting all my shots. And I played really well. And I did that. And what I learned is that I think that it's something that we talk about sometimes, like, don't need to worry about your mechanics. I think there are certain characters where it is not only okay, but it is optimal to have days where all you practice are your mechanics in game. Like you talk about, I blink into walls. You know what you should do? You should have a couple of games at least once a week where all you do is you think about your blink movement and try to think ahead of time. Where am I going to blink? Okay, they're going to shoot me, so I'm going to blink here. Okay, I'm going to think about my blink, right? And all you do is you worry about your blink mechanics or how you're moving, or you said your trigger discipline, right? And you only practice that, in game. I think any character that has any sort of mechanical demand. I was coaching actually Gold Winston last night, and we had an entire King of the Hill game where I was live coaching him, and I had him just practice the melee cancel, the zap, melee cancel, zap, melee cancel, zap, zap, melee cancel, zap. And, he was messing up his positioning and his bubble usage, but man, he got that combo down so well. And I think that anytime you have something like that, an actionable mechanic to practice, not just, I need to practice my aim, but like an actionable mechanical thing. I'm going to slow down my shots, I'm going to work on my blinks, whatever. You need to be practicing that with mechanically demanding characters, I think. So we'll look at your gameplay, obviously, and we'll look at your fundamentals and your positioning. But if I so much as even sniff that mechanics are maybe even a weak point in any way, shape, or form, we're going to have to diagnose you with some mechanical deficiency-itis, and we're going to give you something to practice with that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you take breaks during queues, during games?
Yes. Between
Good.
every game, normally I take about, I would say maximum of 5-minute breaks. And
Great.
if I know the game went well and
Yeah.
I feel mentally exhausted, then I take 15 minutes off or something.
Okay, lovely.
Or we just play, I don't know, or I just watch some videos and then I go back to playing Overwatch.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever allows you to get in. And then on average, are you getting around, I don't know, 6 to 7, 8 games of Overwatch per day, ranked?
Yeah. Sounds
Okay.
about right. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Depends on how much we lose, how much we win. We normally go for the 5 wins.
Okay.
If it doesn't work out, then we just say, okay, let's just go off. And
Sure.
if it did work out, then we might do some more games if on a roll.
Sure. Okay. Fair enough. What do you feel is holding you back from improving? I would say mechanics are a huge part of my side, but it's not what frustrates me the most. I think what is holding me back is my overall decision making. To be precise, my timing is off, either too late or too early, and my choice of target. If I can't see a path ahead in the game, I try to deal with something that is the most frustrating part for me. And we've talked about that. It's not knowing exactly what to do is the most frustrating thing. Now, the strange thing is for somebody that sounds like they're relatively well educated, what about your decision making, or why do you think your decision making is such a weak point?
Because I feel like even with worse mechanics than others in my rank, I should be able to be at least a distraction to the enemies and should at least focus on the right target to get some value. But in some games, I just don't get any value at all. Like, they don't even look at me. They either just headshot me because I have bad mechanics and I walk, like my movement is bad.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense.
Like, if they have Cassidy and Mercy in pocket, I'm just screwed. I don't know. My brain turns off and I'm like, I have this huge wall in front of me and I can't do anything in this game.
Right. It's tricky. It's simultaneously about finding ways to like approach that matchup in a better way, and then also like when anything is difficult, not only is it difficult, but it sounds like that difficulty frustrates you. So then you have like 2 difficulty things to worry about. Not only the matchup, but also you get in your own way.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Sleep is okay, could be better. 7.5 hours is my final offer. But 7 is not too bad, especially for Tracer, just the speed and like even for you, especially sounds like with the intensity and the frustration of just dealing with people swapping versus you, just something to consider. Sleep helps with all of that.
Yeah.
And then you say here you prefer this to be off stream, correct?
Yeah, off stream.
Sure.
Like recorded for YouTube. It's fine.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what do you mean recorded for YouTube? As in, you don't mind this? You want this to be unlisted, or do you want this to be public?
You can do it public. I don't mind.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, that's totally fine then. Okay, I don't really have any other questions from your form. Do you have any other questions for me?
No.
Okay.
Not right now. Like, I have some key points written down that I want to ask.
Excellent.
But I guess we're gonna hit those key points during the.
Sure are. All right, shoot me a code and let's take a look. Got it.
Yeah, we got rolled. My mechanics were pretty bad in the game.
Ready for battle.
But I feel like I want to know what can I do better in terms of, first of all, positioning and then playing my match up into this. I struggle with Sigma on my team because I feel like most Sigmas don't walk in. They don't take as aggressive as like any other tank in the game, demanding the enemy's resources as much, because if he's 20 meters away, yeah, he can hit shots, but if I enter the backline, they can just turn around because Sigma is not a threat, instead of Ryan swinging his hammer in your face. So they don't shoot the Sigma, they turn around So I don't know how to play with Sigma. I just don't get it when I need to enter.
Click on my profile picture at the top of the Discord stream and then tab over to the left.
Got it?
You see it?
Right. Yes.
Got it. Okay. Let's talk about this. How would you describe Sigma's cycle when he's applying pressure? How does that look in terms of a graph?
I would say it's constant.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, up and downs if he hits a rock or uses shield in kinetic grasp. But I think
Ryan?
Sigma is constant pressure. Ryan has very high peaks.
I would say peaks, but actually not the peakiest tank, not even close.
No, not the peakiest tank. But
which would go
Ryan
for
backs off with his shield, his pressure is instantly
correct.
Like gone.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But then the peakiest tank would fall most likely to this guy, right? And obviously
to dive tanks, yes, to Winston.
Right.
Or, yes.
More so than even any other dive tank, right? Bubble or no bubble. That's pretty much all there is to it. Winston without bubble is worthless, right? Even a wrecking ball has faster cycles that are less effective. Now, for you as a tracer, it's very easy to go, I need to apply pressure here, slow down a little bit here, apply pressure here, slow down a little bit here. I get this question all the time from even gold and silver tracers. What do I do when my Ryan's passive? Well, I'm like, well, even just his shielding is still a distraction, right? It's still value for you, something to be able to provide. And the problem is when you don't have these peaks, you don't know what to do. But the answer is very simple. That there is never a time when the enemy team can totally ignore a Sigma and focus you. So let's put it this way. If you hard pressure right here, the enemy team will look at you, but your Sigma will help you. If you hard pressure here, the enemy team will focus you, but your Sigma will help you. At no point, even if you just constantly pressure and there's a trillion tiny little T's all the way down, the Sigma will always be there to help. Always. At no point will the enemy team get away with hard focusing you. Whereas here, if the enemy team says, you know what, I don't like this tracer, let's go get her right here, your Winston will not be able to help. And the same thing goes with your Reinhardt, and the same thing goes with your Sigma, or Winston, excuse me. So for you, yes, there are fewer clear green light, red lights, but there are also fewer clear red lights, right? Keep that in mind. So there's not going to be really a time, as long as your Sigma is shooting, it's an okay time to start distracting. You might wait just a little bit longer. Maybe the enemy team is going to commit and then you're going to distract, depending on what they're running, of course. But the Sigma is just a constant source of pressure. And the reason why people like Tracer struggle playing with Sigma is not because Sigma is a bad combo with Tracer. Sigma is a bad combo for bad Tracers. Because bad Tracers don't have that sense of when I should go. They need somebody to hold their hand and tell them when to go. And that's what dive tanks do. So for you, it's very much a skill issue. And that's good because that means it's in your control. So if we go back, actually look at when to actually pressure here, you'll have to click around again here.
Yep.
Their Ramattra might provide the cue for you to commit, which is nice. That's going to be helpful, right? But if he sits there and pokes with your Sigma, you're going to have to utilize, okay, is my Sigma shooting? Is he pressuring? Is he distracting? If so, then it's time to go. Even just a little bit.
Yeah.
Also, one other problem here that you might not have noticed here, really important. Why are you using this scan?
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it. It's way too much. Way too much. I think graffiti is a better choice personally. It's a classic, but I think it's a good choice. Or rose, that's a good one too. But you'll probably remain plaid as long as the skin is equipped. But go ahead, you had something to say.
Is starting me on the left side top worse than starting on the right side? So I feel like if I start left side, I can control the train.
Yeah.
And I also have an angle on the backline immediately if the tank walks underneath.
Yep.
But starting on right side, I have more of a close range setting.
Yeah.
So I can engage into the backline in a faster and shorter way where they can't see me.
It's fine. This is fine.
Okay.
This is fine. Yeah, I mean, big thing here is just the fact that you could actually deepen and wrap around here, which looks really, really nice, especially with the mini health back here. So, yeah, this is fine. In fact, here, I would probably say that it might be worth more of your time to start at a deeper angle here. Just because, like, how do you engage the backline from this position here? It's kind of a little bit more direct. You see this? Like, very straightforward. But if you sneaky around here, obviously you'll either run to the Widow. But then this is something, like, you'll have to be very patient and listen to know when to go from here. But I think it's probably the better angle.
Okay.
Good. I like this rotation. Grab that mini. And I don't like this. So
Yeah.
you have chosen this angle right now. It's great. There's lots of things you can do from this angle. You can dual tracer. You can pressure Zen, pressure BAP. You can wrap around. Don't go, oh, bang, 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 triple blink. Because the problem is this tracer, okay, yes, you've maybe harassed the Widow a little bit, right? But you don't have any blinks to move. And then if that tracer chases you, you're either going to be, oh, I'm unable to blink to dodge the shot. But even if you hadn't, this tracer would have shot one clip, you would have recalled, and then you would have died.
Yes.
So it's very simple. You started on a good angle. I don't like what you did with that angle because you didn't really have an opportunity to go for backline easily. And then you took another angle, it's fine, and then ran all the way across the map. Hold your angle. Hold your angle or deepen your angle. Don't bounce from right to left to right to left. Choose left and deepen, 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 deepen. Or choose right and deepen, 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 deepen. Does that make sense?
So to commit, like,
Yes.
even if it's the wrong decision, just stick with it.
Right. Find a way to define value out of your angle. Small adjustments. Don't blink all the way across the map. You might need to back out here. Yeah, that's fine. Your team is dead. Did you know that she was there?
The Widow, no. I heard Widow's grapple shot, but I didn't know she was camping in the.
Okay.
arena for me.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Now this is what we call chasing again. You have chosen this angle. Tracer runs away from it. What should you do?
I should probably go for Zen.
From where?
Top or left side?
Top or left side. Right. You're here. Great opportunity to go here. Or you can deepen here. Great opportunity to go from here. Both work great. This one's faster. This one's better in terms of being sneakier and catching up behind them.
Yeah.
You're chasing. Do you understand what I mean when I say chasing?
You're running off my angle.
Right.
Leaving the angle I chose.
Correct. Right.
Giving it up for enemies.
Do you understand why that is sometimes a problem?
Yes, because I open up the angle for the enemies. Like, I took the angle, they know I'm there, and then I leave, and then they can retake it.
That's true. But aren't you closing down another angle elsewhere?
No.
Think about this. When you were here, were you not shutting down this angle? And then you moved to here, and were you not shutting down this angle, right?
Yes.
The Widow had to back off. So why is it such a bad thing?
Because
what was it?
Resources.
That's it right there. You've used triple blink to change your angle for almost little to no benefit, which then is what killed you.
Yes.
In addition to that, if you chase, sometimes you'll end up in positions that aren't even very good angles at all. For example, here you had a very easy shot to shoot the Zenyatta in the back. Remember this? From here, you were contesting the Widow, yes, but were you contesting her from an angle or from the back? No. She was looking you right in the eyes.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that happens here, where, yes, I appreciate you chasing the Tracer, that's great and all, but now you are not at an angle anymore. You see that?
Yes.
Whereas earlier you could have contested and killed the Zenyatta. If you did, great. Then you would have deepened your angle and actually been shooting the Ramattra in the back. That's what you need to be looking for with positioning.
Yeah, I think I sometimes struggle with deepening my angles. Because I feel like, oh, I need to return to my team and help them, even though there's no need for me to help the team.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I think it's a bad habit I got when playing tank, because I felt like on tank, I needed to help my team more. Because if I don't help my backline with the dive or against the dive, then my backline just dies. So if Tracer goes into my backline, I need to hope my backline can deal with the Tracer, or I need to chase down the Tracer. And most of the time, I feel like I go with the chase option because I don't trust my backline enough.
And that's problematic. You see, the thing is, you have to think about it is you taking an angle is already protection for your team. So you might look at this and be like, oh, I did not mark the Tracer. I messed up, right? But because you're here, if I'm coaching this Tracer, what angle am I coaching her to take? Do you think this is a good angle from her?
No, not really.
It's terrible.
Directly at Kiriko.
It's terrible. So where should she come from?
Anyone. Probably where I'm standing.
And is she standing where you're standing? No, she's not. So you know what? You did your job. I don't know if you did it on purpose. I don't know if she looked at you and was like, oh, I can't go there.
I mean, I roll.
Yeah, she did. She did. Look. She looked at you. She goes, oh no, Tracer's there. And so she goes to the Kiriko directly, which guess what? Because she's blinking in directly into your team, she gets punished for it.
Yes.
That's your fault. You killed her. That's what you need to be doing. If you want to protect your team, take the angle, make them go elsewhere. Don't chase. If they go elsewhere and they pick a different angle, that's fine. That makes it easier for your team because they don't have to look in two different directions. They only have to look in one. Even thinking about like, oh, you being here means that she has to come from underneath. Yes, she could have potentially avoided you, but that still makes the job harder and easier for your backline to live with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So don't chase.
Is there a way for me to recognize those impacts, even if it's little in-game? Because I feel like I struggle a lot with those impacts. Like,
go ahead.
Overall on Tracer, you need to deny enemy angles, you need to pressure enemy backline, you need to demand resources while offering less resources from your team to the enemies than you take from them.
Sure.
But in-game, it doesn't help me. Like, I can see, okay, I baited out like Sleep, I baited out Suzu. Yeah, then what?
You're fishing for, you want positive reinforcement immediately in a game that's far too complicated and far too fast-paced for you to be fishing for that positive reinforcement. All you need to worry about is doing your job, doing it well, fixing some of the mistakes that are holding you back and preventing you from carrying your team, and then you can't worry about it. You need to, I think it also needs to come back to you just enjoying what you're doing as well. If you don't have fun playing the game until you feel like you're having some massive positive impact, then this game is going to continue to be a mixed bag for you. Because we can look at this and we can very clearly point out like, oh, the value that you provided here and there. And you're asking, is there a way for me to recognize that? Well, not really, first off. And even if you could, you wouldn't want to waste brain energy telling yourself that I'm doing a great job, pat myself in the back. Just play the game. Do your job. Enjoy it. I think the game is too fast-paced for that. It's too fast-paced for that. And it's not something that's going to necessarily make you a better player either. I think you're at a point in time where you're getting frustrated with a lot of like not feeling like you're doing so much, but it's not being enough, and then not knowing where to go. Well, we can answer that question, but in the moment, you're not always going to be able to recognize each and every tiny little advantage that you get for your team. So you're just going to have to live with it.
Fair enough.
All I can tell you is that if you deepen your angles and don't chase and conserve your resources, that you will fights will win. And you might not 100% fully understand exactly what you did, but it will feel good and it will be fun and you will win 5% more games. And that's all that you need.
Yeah.
Now you might ask yourself, is this chasing? What do you think? No, why?
It's denying her angle.
Sure.
And
were you
already her and I'm getting her recall.
Is it convenient for you to do this?
Yes.
Okay, that's it.
Looking.
And that's it. It costs, well, not only that, but it was also one blink. That's fine.
I can heal you. Much better.
Now, what should you do right now?
Deepen my angle on the left side.
Deepen your angle on the left side. Exactly. Deepen your angle.
No one can hide.
Perfect.
From my sight.
Good. Good. You see all this value that you're getting? You can see it through walls now, right?
Yes,
Good.
that's why I don't peek it.
Mm-hmm. He's got orb now. Good.
Payload's on the move. Let's stop it.
And I know how this works. You go, my team died. What was I supposed to do? Like, I should have done more. Like, I should have chased the widow. Oh, this stupid widow, and right? I imagine this must have been a very frustrating fight for you.
Yeah, kind of, because I felt like first of all, I did good because I marked the tracer.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yeah, shit, maybe I should have taken another angle instead of trying to flank again from this angle, and should have taken top. Like,
From top.
right as I died to the widow, I should have taken top, but then I would have peeked into the widow the same.
Right. There's no real advantage here. There's no real solution here, to be honest with you.
The only thing I could have done is completely going back to my team and then shooting with my team on the enemy front line. But I feel like that's
Let me just embrace this screenshot, okay? If you knew nothing else about this fight, okay, maybe we can do this here.
Mhm.
Is your team likely to win this or likely to lose this from what you're seeing? Look at the back line. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see how look at the Zenyatta?
Yeah, most likely to win.
Surely, right? Surely. I mean, look, surely, right?
3v1.
Surely, guys. Surely. Your Sigma can also easily disengage this. This Ramatra cannot. The Zenyatta is AFK. The Baptiste is almost AFK. The Widow is almost AFK. The Tracer is AFK. Sometimes you just have to look at this and be like, I can't worry about it. You're playing with human beings. You're not playing with robots. Robots are predictable. Human beings are not predictable. Human beings make terrible mistakes. This is your Sigma. He had 700 shield and a shift, and he died. He's an idiot. Your Widowmaker died to a Ramatra because she was too busy scoping in. And your Kiriko did nothing. Your Ana missed her nade on a Ramatra and then missed her sleep dart. Oh, and she also missed multiple heal shots in your Widow and let her die. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just happens.
It just happens. You were a total idiot previous round. You died to, or 2 rounds, I guess, ago, 2 fights ago, to whatever this embarrassing thing was. That was stupid. And then now it's your team to do something stupid. So all you have to do is you have to make sure when it's your turn to do something stupid that you try to avoid doing stupid things, or you make plays and then you don't worry about it. And if your teams are going to throw a couple of fights, that's just normal. Fringe. Where should you be?
Right side.
Right side. Nah, he's super overextending, so it wasn't as bad, but yeah, just something to consider. Okay. I had one of these games yesterday. You want to hear a secret? I'm playing Plat 2, Plat 1 Doomfist right now. I'm awful at Doomfist. It's been like a bit of a stream project. I had a game yesterday in Rialto where my team did the Plat thing, and we lost multiple fights in a row just because my team is staggering. And I refuse to stagger. I refuse to make mistakes. I always reset, play perfectly. And you know what? Eventually, after 4 fights, my team got their stuff together, and we won. Easily, actually. But it was so close to being one of those games. And stuff like this is you being the teammate that your team was, just like, because what's the problem here?
I'm facing all the enemies. I'm not looking at anyone else.
Right.
I'm even going in using my resources. Well, yeah.
You might ask yourself, oh, this is one of the Sigma problems, right? Where I don't really know when my tank is engaging. Yeah, I think that's a fair point here. But you have to ask yourself, was this the best angle that I could have taken?
No. I don't even know if it's a Sigma problem or I was just frustrated.
See? That's it. That's it right there.
That's more likely than the Sigma being the problem.
And that's it right there.
If I see 4 enemies not shooting at anyone, like, it can't be the fault of my Sigma.
Right.
Or me playing bad with Sigma.
True. So that's the problem, though. So you've let your teammates' mistakes create your own mistakes. And that is the most human thing it could possibly be. That's the problem with ranked. One person makes a mistake, makes somebody else mad, and the next person makes a mistake. Now the first person made a mistake, wasn't even mad, but now they're mad also, so now they're more likely to make a mistake. And there you go. And this is exactly what's happening right now. You guys have an advantage here. Their Widow's dead. And yet this is out of the three options you have. Yes, 3 options you have to set up an off angle in the backline. Actually, there's 4. You've chosen by far the worst. Yeah. Give me the other 3.
Left side with the
left
mini.
Left side mini. Left side deeper.
Even deeper,
right?
Yes.
Where's the other? Top. Yes. Take the elevator,
like
and then blink across.
Or above the depth. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Those are your 3 angles right there, and you chose the worst one. Not really at a great time.
Like even being on the right side in the room with the mini would be better than standing out. If
you blinked here, maybe baited the tracer, and maybe your backline walks forward, you could probably have lived here a little bit and then gotten pocket and then maybe gone for it, right? It's not the best plan, but it would have been okay. Right, so... And see, this is why coaching is so hard. Not just for me, but for you. Because you can study my resources and good coaching, good resources, at least I hope so. But it doesn't matter because that's not why you just did what you just did. It's not a lack of understanding. It's in your head.
Yes. I think that's why I wrote down to, or what I want to get out of this session is so I can see a clear path. It could be worded more correctly if I say like, what should I do if I get frustrated in game because I don't see what I do or what I should do or what value I'm getting.
The big takeaway for me is that sometimes you'll have a fight where you actually played it really well, right? Think about the last fight, right? You played that one really well, could not have played it better, and you get punished. So you need to remember that those fights happen all the time. And then don't let them be fuel to actually create problems in the next fight.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So when something bad happens and you think that you played it well, be like, wow, I played that well. That's unfortunate. Let's go next fight and let me play it well again. Don't sit there thinking, oh, I should have done, no, maybe if you really feel like you played it well and you're thinking about something to practice, and that's all you need to worry about. At least that's the ultimate goal, and you need to work towards that goal. Even if you're not perfect. Like, it's not like you're going to finish the session, all of a sudden you don't get tilted anymore, but you have to be able to understand that there are certain fights, a large percentage of fights, where it does not matter what you do at a plat level. You could be even a diamond player, and it doesn't matter what you do. You would have to be a disproportionate amount of, you'd have to be master, grandmaster, and to be honest with you, there's probably even fights as a master, grandmaster tracer that you'd still lose to at plat.
Yeah.
This entire fight has just been a snowball because now it's like the opportunity to go on a good angle is missed. Your team is now down 2. You've wasted your pulse bomb. I mean, even what you're doing now is like, I guess not the worst thing you could do. There's nothing really else to do. So just shoot the tracer, I guess. Thankfully, your Widow helps you out. Nice clip. One little detail here, just a micro detail. We want to talk about micro, right? This is something that you need to be very cautious about, and it's definitely cost you your life a few times versus the Widowmaker. When you see this right here, who is the advantage in this duel at this exact millisecond? Obviously Zen. So what should be your first response?
Blink.
Blink, or at least a strafe, not shoot. So your first response is to line up your crosshair, and you don't even strafe. You don't blink, nor do you strafe. If I am the Zenyatta, because I'm the greatest Zenyatta in the history of the world, you are dead right now. But the thing is that's what makes Tracer the best duelist, is you are not very good with your gun, but if you blink, then I'm dead. Or if you start to straight right and then straight left, right, I'm dead. And you win. You gave the Zenyatta a lot of disrespect to land a 1 clip, which, to be fair, was good mechanics, but also bad mechanics at the same time.
He didn't move at all.
Right. But you see why that's important, right?
Yeah.
And that's the case, by the way, for 95% of people you're going to duel. If they see you before you see them, or you guys see each other at the same time, your first response should be to blink, not shoot. I don't care if it's Ana, Zenyatta, Cassidy, Hanzo. Blink and move, and then when they're turning their crosshair to look at you, or turning around, or reloading, or whatever, that's when you're shooting. At the very least, strafe.
Yeah, I think I focused too much on aligning my crosshair and hitting my clips on trigger discipline.
Yep.
because it was one of the mechanically issues I had. Like I
Yep.
was just waste 2/3 of my clip,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to work on that. And then I didn't even think about blinking. Most of the time, I die with 3 blinks and recall on me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that should tell you exactly what the problem is, right? It's the other side of the mechanics, and that's what you can go practice. So you've improved your trigger discipline. You've built that habit to be a little bit better. So then now it's time to go back to the other side of that coin, which is your movement. And in many ways, I think that movement is more important than aim with Tracer. Nice.
Yes. Like I feel like my movement is very bad. I take way too many shots
Sure.
I don't need to take. But I don't really know how to work on it.
You practice it consciously in ranked. Like right now.
My movement is bad because I walk in a straight line.
Right. Now you could also look at this and be like, I'm focusing on my shots because she's 5 HP, which I get it, but yeah. I think this Widowmaker has almost my level of mechanics. Let's see. Oof.
It was a pretty good shot, yeah.
That was a pretty darn good shot.
If I would have thought about it for like 2 seconds longer, I could have gone from the left side.
I would agree with that. I actually think that's the first thing I was thinking is deepen your angle on this side instead of crossing into the open. And
Because
then from this...
if she gets support, like half of my clip goes into her and she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Payloads on the move. They outnumber. Watch out.
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
So in this fight, in the last fight, I was again the first to die, so obvious my team gets rolled.
Yeah.
Should I roll out on an angle now, or should I wait for the team?
I would say start to roll out on an angle, but be conservative because they might chase you.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, they have sights, I can't really do much. I actually think what you're doing right now is fine. Kind of baiting attention. Ooh, run. Can you live? Recall, that's fine. Like, it's really annoying, but I don't think there's a lot more you could do. The Ramatra chased you. The Tracer chased you. Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. So basically, in those situations, just try to set up conservatively and see if you can live. I think you played this fight well. I don't think that, at least fundamentally, there was a whole lot more that you could do at that point. It just kind of goes back to like, oh, there's nothing more I could have done, but rewind one fight.
Yeah, I mean, I needed to touch card. Like, I was in voice chat and my tank said, can someone touch card? Because I don't know if he was able to.
Right.
Or what, he got blocked, and then I said, okay. And I blinked on card.
Sure. Okay. Any questions so far?
There's gonna come up quite a few questions in this fight. I think we don't even take first point here.
Okay.
And I try to deepen my angle on right side because I feel like it's more convenient for me to take right side and left side.
Yeah.
Especially against Widow and Sen, because I felt like I could enter the backline.
Yep.
But I just struggled for 4 minutes in the backline and we lost.
Okay. Well, we'll find out. This would have worked better if you had been more decisive with this sooner. So right here, sneak here. This would have worked better if you had just triple blinked now into cover. And then blinked back to the mini. And obviously Tracer could still pursue you, but she would only have 1 blink advantage on you. I think if even that, she might also have the triple blink. And then if you could get the mini first and you could play cover, then she would demand support. And then maybe you can disengage and set up, right? Yeah, I think that's something to consider here because unfortunately, okay, you do get Discord out, but like this honestly, you should probably die here. Post no recall.
Yeah, I'm gonna die. I'm pretty sure I die.
But here it's like I think this is just a situation where it's like the Widow's back here, the Tracer's back here. You should not be doing this. What should your mindset be? You know that it's a 2v1 right now. And you're down to live, right? So then what should be your focus right now? Where should you go?
Like, that's a problem. I don't really know.
Okay, well, think about it.
Blinks, and if I blink left side, I blink into the open. Easy food for Widow. the medkit was already taken from me.
Mhm.
So if I blink on point, I get annihilated.
Maybe. There's nobody here anymore. Because remember, there's 2 people over here. So you're blinking away from the 2 people over here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You also have 2 blinks here. I wonder if you could blink jump up over here and tuck this way as well.
Did I have 2 blinks?
Yep. You had 2 blinks there. So you had 1 more blink right here.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
You know, and even this, this is honestly fine. Like, this is honestly fine here. I don't think this was too bad. I really don't think this was too bad. I think it was the way that you did it wasn't always clean, but this is honestly fine. Like, again, here, you need to look at the situation right here and tell me that you guys don't lose this, right? Tell me this Ramattra dies. Tell me that your Brigitte lives.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Tell me that their Widow doesn't get another kill. This Widow is just carrying this fight, honestly. You know? So, you know, we can nitpick how you set up. But honestly, if the Widow's she's just straight up destroying your team. So it's not that deep. And I'm actually kind of glad that you included this VOD, because even though I usually don't like looking at stomps, right? Your Brig is trolling. But this seems to be like something that when this happens, you completely lose all faith in everything that you're doing and even your enjoyment of the game.
That's why I wanted to look at it.
Right, this is going to happen. You know, it's just unavoidable. I look at that, and we can even though we can find lots of errors with how you're playing, none of them were necessarily enough that would have made this game an easy win.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, look, come on, look, what is happening here? What is happening?
The Ram is one camping alone.
You're widowed. You're right. Like, and you're there's not. Like, what do you? Where is their backline? You know. And all this is, and this is classic. This is classic Hardstuck, right? Your team's getting rolled. Your team's getting rolled. Your team's getting rolled. You get mad. You see an opportunity. You just blink straight in the middle of the enemy team. Disrespect. Try to make a clutch play and then die.
Yeah.
And so then now the snowball is going to continue. Your Brig's going to die again. You know.
So should I hide in those situations and wait for my team to?
Put it this way: if you want to go for a play here, I don't mind that. Go for it. This is not even bad what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
This is bad. You see what I'm saying? If you want to set up a pulse bomb, set up an angle. This is stupid. You could have very easily blinked through here or deepen the angle here, right? And actually start to set up and make them. Because if you start to deepen this way, these guys start to get scared and they start to back up. That leaves the Ramattra by himself. That allows your team to walk through the choke. There's lots of solutions here, right? This is not one of them. This is not one of them. Blinking, no angle, just. And it's an emotional decision, you know? It's an emotional decision is what it is. You know, I will say also as well, your team's composition is horrific versus the enemy team. Your comp makes no sense whatsoever. Winston's bad in first point with the support that he has. Brigitte is probably the worst support you could actually play here. Yeah, I mean, this is terrible. Good?
I mean, I don't really like to, no matter what my team plays, obviously, I struggle, especially with Lucios. They don't provide support for me.
Sure.
Like Sen does or Brig does.
Sure.
But in the end, I feel like this is played. I should be able to win this if I just
I agree.
make
I agree.
the right decisions.
I agree. My point is just understand what you can control and what you can't control. You guys are operating at disadvantage. You can almost write this entire game off right now.
Yeah.
So just get good practice out of it. Train your mental, train your ability to deepen your angles. Because you could see, even though this has been like a total crapshoot, right? You could still have practiced deepening your angles and you still should have hit the pulse bomb, right?
Yes.
As bad as it has been, it's still been productive practice, has been a possibility, right? This is good. Like, I want to put things in context here for you. Okay? This is who you're working with this game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay? So, it's probably not winnable. Not with your current skill set. Doesn't mean that you can't practice. This has been the best practice that you've had. on the entire attack. Nice job. Even that blink timing was good there. Right as she starts to scope in, you're ready for her. All right, let's hit the pulse. Oh dear, that's unfortunate timing. That's okay. You know what? This is a good fight. You took a good angle. I think you moved relatively well. Your target priority was good. You hit the pulse bomb, then you got nano. That's a little bit unfortunate. Good job. There's absolutely nothing you can worry about this here. And this is where you you have to be able to look at that and not let that ruin the rest of your day.
I mean, I would say I'm pretty good at not letting the match affect the next matches.
Good.
Because then I just take a break.
Sure.
The only problem I have when it affects the whole day is when teammates start to blame or teammates start to unnecessary hate each other for whatever reason.
Yeah,
or they just throw the game. They let it go AFK and so on. I can't comprehend with teammates going AFK, jumping off the map, or ulting in spawn. Like that's what gets me real mad, and then I need to take a break.
Yeah,
but like
I get that.
a frustrating game, I can just take a little break, and then I'm like, okay, I don't know, maybe I did bad. Go next.
Sure. What I want to see you do though is fix the fix the pulse bombs.
Oh yeah.
Right?
I didn't train my pulse bombs in a while.
Well, that's more of a euphemism. Because think about the 2 pulse bombs that have been the worst. It's when it came off of a bad fight from your team, you get frustrated and you just run it down mid. Yeah, it's not necessarily the pulse bombs.
My mechanics on pulse bomb are
sure. But let me run with the analogy. Let me run with the analogy a little bit, okay? When you have a bad fight, stay focused, practice what you need to practice. Don't let it ruin the rest of the game. No throwaway fights. If you make a mistake because you legitimately just made a mistake, fine. If you made a mistake because you got frustrated after your team made a mistake and then you were now making a mistake, that needs to be addressed. You need to improve that.
Yes.
Even this here is like, I know that maybe I'm overthinking this, but your team had a really bad fight. I don't know why we're shooting this from Matra instead of blinking out, trying to set up a different angle. It's not a total waste of your time.
Like he was out of position.
Sure.
He was in front of me, and then I just
Sure.
I didn't think.
Sure. Okay, and then this is a total wash.
Yeah. I guess.
Go ahead.
One of my last questions, or my last question would
Please.
be, how do I practice, or what should I focus on? Because I feel like I have these like 10 different things, and I want to bring point 1 to a max, then point 2 to a max, but it doesn't work like that. Like
no, it doesn't. I actually, you touch on a really, really pertinent point for me, because I'm actually going to send you a video really quick, because it's actually something I'm planning on doing a discussion on soon.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it's a 4-minute video, and we're going to talk about it right now. Because here's how you should be practicing skills. You should be practicing one skill at a time for a short period of time, then move on to another skill, and then move on to another skill. You should not be aiming for mastery of any skill whatsoever, nor should you be aiming to see any significant improvement in that skill, nor should you be training a skill for any long period of time to where the novelty or the enjoyment of the skill training becomes boring. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You should be swiftly short. 1 day, 2 days, a couple games.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really up to you. I think it depends on the person, what works best. I don't think that there is any hard science on how long is good. That's up to you. But you could probably get a good estimate. And then this is crucial here. Have a period of time, either a day or 2 or a couple of games, where you don't have any goals and you just play. You just play. Play as good as you can. Don't play to win necessarily, but do play to perform.
But I should play rank. Like, the thing is, I don't like playing quick play. Like,
yes, no, you should definitely play ranked. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. No, you go into rank and you just play to do the best that you can in the ranked game at everything at the same time, because we want to work at skills in isolation, but ultimately Overwatch is not a game of isolated skills. It's all of those skills at the same time. So focusing on one skill at a time to develop that skill is great, but then allow yourself to try to apply everything at the same time and see how it goes. And then go like, that was okay, bit of a mess, we did all right. Rinse and repeat, go back and focus on the same skills or new skills that you need to develop. For you, your skills to develop are deepening angles instead of chasing targets. especially that peel mindset. Be aware of that. Be aware that that is a weakness of yours, is to want to peel, right?
Yeah.
And that needs to be improved. Be aware of your tendency to frustratedly run it down mid after a poor fight. Stay calculated, do your job, right? The pulse bombs, right? Just let a bad fight happen, do your best to reset. Another skill is when the enemy is looking at you, your first response should be to strafe or blink, not to shoot.
Blink
usually
in cover, blink behind them, or depending on situation?
It depends. Any of them are good, right? You just need to make them move their crosshair.
Yeah. So
or miss.
Make the enemy work. Okay.
Right, because your weapon is, especially with that quick reload, you can always shoot with Tracer. So it's more about finding when do I want to shoot and when do I want to focus on moving. Now you can do both, right? You'll see a lot of high-level Tracers will strafe and shoot, right? But it is looking at, okay, they have the Zenyatta, Widow, Cassidy, Hanzo. They're looking at me, I need to move, then shoot. Oh, they're looking at me again, I move, then I shoot. Oh, they're looking at me again, move, then shoot. And that's what Tracer does. And that's a mechanic to work on. Go ahead.
Blinking mid-clip. Good or
trigger
bad?
discipline. Yes, good with trigger discipline.
I tried to do it, but I end up with 5 shots or 6 shots in a magazine, and then I'm like, yeah,
that's okay. But that's okay. But that's okay because you're looking at the result, but the idea of what you're doing is good. You just need to keep practicing it.
Okay, so like, if I don't hit my clip instead of just doing the trigger discipline, I could also blink and shoot the rest of the clip.
Yep. You could start shooting half a clip. They turn to look at you. You blink, shoot the other half a clip. That's like a Tracer fundamental right there. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I think that's absolutely something to work at. Yeah, absolutely. And then I think that kind of piggies back into our last point, which is okay to practice your blinks, strafe movement, etc., in a ranked environment, not just FFA. It's okay to, it's good. It's good to practice your mechanics, you know? Because in FFA, you might be a little bit more flippant and more lazy with how you use your resources because you don't care as much if you blink to a wall. You're just kind of shooting, right? You don't care if you die. But in ranked, you really don't want to die. So that might force you to put more attention onto how you're using your blinks and so on. So it might be good to practice certain mechanics in ranked rather than FFA. Because it's not really the cost of dying in FFA, but there's definitely a cost in dying in ranked that helps you to put a little bit sharpness to your movement.
Yeah, I played less FFA in the last weeks.
Yep.
Because the only FFAs in Europe that are open are mostly with top 500 people stacked. And I don't gain anything from getting rolled from a rank 150 Kiriko. Like,
Sure. What you could do in those engagements, if it does happen, is then focus exclusively on your movement and don't worry about like actually getting the kill. Just see how many shots they can miss. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep in mind, like I think the key thing for you with your Tracer mechanics is being okay with splitting up the mechanics in two. Into one, your aim, and the second is your movement and your blinks. And being okay with having bad aim and just moving as best as you possibly can, and thinking, okay, how do I want to use my blinks versus a Cassidy, and how do I want to use my blinks versus a Hanzo, and so on. Okay, do you have any questions?
How do I can work on them separately. Like my aim, it's obvious track aim. Like, of course. Nothing much special.
Yep.
And on the other hand, my movement mechanics, how do I combine them? Because the moment I start to AD strife, the moment I start to crouch AD strife or whatever movement mechanic I try to use, if the enemy doesn't stand still, and even if he stands still, I'm missing like most of my clip all the time. Yep.
It's, you know what you've asked is a great piano question. When I was first learning piano, I don't play anymore, but back when I was like 10, 11 years old, you learned left hand, you learned right hand. And then when you got very comfortable, then you would do a little bit of both. And it was always awful. And then you do it again. You go back to left hand, you go back to right hand, you do a little bit of both. And it was bad. And you go back to left hand, you go back to right hand, you do a little bit of both. And it was 5% better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. If your aim is struggle, if you struggle to aim while you're strafing, there's 2 reasons why that might be the case. 1, you're just not very good at strafing naturally, so you have to think too hard about your strafing, which then makes your mechanics really bad, right? Or it could just be that your mechanics are bad and you need to practice more mechanics so that you can do more mechanics so that while you can think about strafing. So the key thing is as long as you're practicing one, the other, both. One, the other, both, you don't need to worry about it. It will happen.
Yeah, it's the first because like I don't strafe on tank.
Sure. So then there you go. That's why you're having such a hard time.
On soldier, I have like it's like Kovacs.
Yep. Absolutely. Any other questions? That was a good one.
No, not right now.
Okay. Well,
Like
good luck with your practice.